Hey guys, we've got changes to Ari, changes to Janna, Fiddlesticks, Ramus, Taric, and many more in store here in the patch 3.15 notes in League of Legends. My name is Shadowswalm, and let's get right into things, shall we? So first things first, the matchmaking. Back in patch 3.13, we made some changes to let us more dynamically turn on the loss prevented mode for servers with hardware or connection issues. Unfortunately, there was a bug where prevented games showed up as losses. Turning on loss prevented mode is a manual process that we're improving on, including the potential to automate it in the future. Sorry for the inconvenience. So they fixed the bug where the loss prevented was showing up as defeat in the post game lobby and match history. Games in your match history that were listed as defeat but actually were loss prevented will be changed to loss prevented. So, that'll help you just kind of keep track of your KD or your win-loss ratio just a little better. Just a little better. As, there is a now, or for new players rather, new players will have their appropriate skill levels identified faster in the matchmaking system, as well as they fixed a rare bug where the matchmaker would create imbalanced matches for players who had been in the queue for very long periods of time. The context for this one, I'm not even going to bother reading this, this little paragraph right here that's highlighted. So what used to happen was there was a bug where if you were in the queue for say 5-6 minutes, the average queue duration was maybe a minute, what would happen was it would just, make it to where one team would snowball against the other just kind of automatically. Say you're silver 1, you're in the queue for 5 minutes. Okay, it paired you up with, previously the bug would pair you up with like a bunch of gold or, diamonds and pair you against, a bunch of like bronze players. Now it's actually going to try and pair you with other people in the same boat. Maybe, again, say you're silver 1, pair you with, low bronze or low gold 5, high bronze 2, or high silver 2 rather. To keep that comparison there. So that's good now. General. Temporary attack speed buffs now update when champions attack rather than on the first attack. So stuff like Tristana with her rapid shot or Quinn with Harrier and W, it now happens automatic. The attack speed buff happens immediately instead of okay, you attack then you get it. So that's good. Damage amplification abilities no longer work on true damage, and the affected abilities are Poppy's Diplomatic Immunity, Swain's Torment, and Talon's Cutthroat. So all those 3 have been affected. Again, I'm not sure what that means though. I'm guessing that means you can't actually negate the true damage, but you can't actually buff it either. So I think that's there. Again, I'm not entirely sure on that one. Moving on, however. Yasuo is in this patch, but he's not out yet, so let's keep an ear out and keep an eye out for any new details they let out. Ari's very early laning experience can be unforgiving, so they upped her base mana from 230 to 250, and base mana regen increased to 7 per 5 seconds from 6.25 per 5 seconds. So again, that'll just help her that early game where, levels 1 to 5, I want to say, like 1 to 4, 1 to 5, somewhere around there. It's actually more that you can sustain in lane and not, okay, I have to pop another mana pot, okay, another mana pot, okay, auto attack, you can actually kind of cast spells a little more frequently and harass a little more and get those last hits with your spells instead of trying to time your auto attacks. So that's good. Now with Fiddlesticks, Janna, Ramus, and with Lulu, they all nerfed their mana cost for the ultimate from 150, 200, 250, or in Janna's case 100, 150, 200. They're all level or 100 mana now at all ranks instead of scaling upwards. Actually, Ramus was the only one where it's actually consistent 120 at all ranks, but now it's 100 at all ranks instead. So before people were saying Terrify lasted too long, I'm guilty of that as well. So they actually nerfed the duration of Terrify. It now lasts 1.25 seconds at rank 1 from 1 second, but level 5 it only lasts 2.25 seconds from 3 seconds. So they buffed the level 1 of both Taunt and Fear, but they nerfed the duration of them at the last level from 3 seconds to 2.25 seconds. So that's a little change right there, but they did reduce the mana cost of Fear from scaling upwards to 105 to just 65 at all ranks. So that's a nice little counterbalance right there. And same thing with Rammus's Taunt. I believe it's now 50 at all ranks, scaling instead of scaling up to 90. So that's good. For Fiddlesticks, Janna, and Lulu, as well as Rammus, they want you to be able to cast more spells in combat instead of, okay, your ult popped, now just auto attack. They want you to be able to say, okay, I popped my ultimate, now who's my next fear target, who's my next stun target, who's my next whimsy, etc., etc. So it's a good change for Fiddlesticks. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's too drastic of a nerf for the fear and the taunt duration. I think making it half a second instead of 3/4 of a second difference, I think half a second would actually work more, would work better rather. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. And again, that mana cost reduction on their ultimates just makes it all that more, all the better for them. Lucien, his safeguard no longer shields anybody but allied champions, meaning if he goes ahead and safeguards to a minion, it doesn't get that shield, and you could still kill it in the same amount of time. You no longer have to break through the shield, then kill its health. You just continue on with the health. So that's good. Lucien, they nerfed the damage of piercing light, and they reduced its cast range. What would happen previously is you'd actually be able to cast it from further than your attack range, your basic attack range. So now they just have it in line with how far away you can be before you basic attack. It matches your basic attack range pretty much, and the damage is now 80, 110, 140, 170, 200, from 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. So overall 40 damage nerf at its last level, but the AD ratio that it scales with, it's still there. So you just have to get a little more AD to give it that oomph to get it back to where it was previously. Lulu, her passive has been increased. It now does up to 105 damage at your last level, up from 81, so 24 damage buff at your last level. And yeah, it still starts at 9, but instead of going up by just 9, it actually goes up by, what is that, 1? It actually goes up by 11, 11, 12, 13, yeah, actually, no, 12. Goes up by 12 at all ranks. I'm bad at math today. So yeah, it goes up at 12 at all ranks instead of 9, so that's good. Your E help picks, the shield, the absorption effect of the shield, it absorbs more at early levels and the same at the last rank, just to kind of help you, save your ally that much easier. You no longer have to kind of guess, okay, will the shield be good enough? Whereas with the previous shield with no AP, 60 damage it's good, but if there's a 100 damage hit coming in, your ally only has, or say, there's a 100 damage hit coming in, you shield for 60, oh look, there's 40 damage still coming in, versus, oh look, 20 damage. That's pretty big. So glad they did that, and Wild Growth, as I said previously, it's now 100 at all ranks from 150 at all ranks. Rammus, defensive ball curl can no longer be deactivated. Instead, it goes on cooldown when used instead of when the ability wore, or when you deactivated it. The total cooldown is still the same. It's just deactivating the ability, lets you go ahead and, Q away or Q in easier. And as I said for Puncturing Taunt, it lasts 2.25 seconds at last level, but first level lasts a second and a half. So that's good. It still costs 50 mana at all ranks from scaling from 50 to 90. And again, his ultimate's been, the mana cost has been reduced to 100 at all ranks from 120. So, I think that the nerf on the taunt and fear is too drastic. Instead of making it 2.25, just make it 2.5 seconds. That half second will still make a difference between life and death, but still gives you a little leeway to kill that person or catch them off guard. Next we have Sivir. Fleet of Foot bonus. The movement speed bonus of Fleet of Foot has been reduced, and it now scales to 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50 at levels 1, 6, 11, 16, and 18. So level 1 you have 30 bonus movement speed whenever you hit an enemy champion with anything, and at level 18 you have 50 bonus movement speed for hitting an enemy champion with anything. So that's good. Nice little nerf in the early game to reduce her overall, her snowballing potential in that early game. The spell shield duration has been reduced to 1.5 seconds from 3, so that gives enemies more time to go ahead and just, kill you, and makes you more aware of when you have to pop your spell shield. You can't just pop it and be like, oh, haha. You have to just sit there and kind of auto-attack me for 3 seconds. Now you have to be more conscious, and adds a little more depth to Sivir. And then on the hunt, the total duration has been reduced to 8 seconds from 10. The enhanced movement speed duration now scales up to 4 seconds, goes 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, again from 4 seconds at all ranks. And the cooldown has been increased to 120, 180, being CDR all that much more valuable. That's 40 seconds off at rank 2 and 36 seconds off at rank 3. Let me actually see if I did the math right. 8, 16, 24, 32. No, 32 seconds. So that's still pretty damn good. That still brings it down to, 48? Again, can't complain. 48 second ult on Sivir. Not bad. Not bad at all. Next we got Soraka, who had her base armor and base movement speed increased. Movement speed's now 340 from 335. I think that actually makes her the fastest support in the game before boots and before any sort of buffs. And her armor went up to 13 from 9.4 for base, making her just a little more, a little more survivable in the early game. Not just, oh god, I got hit with something, and any sort of armor penetration is just super effective against me. Now it's okay. Armor pen's still good, but not as effective as before. Taric, his passive gem crafting armor scaling has been reduced to 20% from 30%, so 10 damage nerf on that. And his shatter was just doing too much. The scaling was a little off for the aura, and the damage it was doing was too much, and the armor shred was too much. So they actually corrected the amount of armor the aura gives. It now gives 12% instead of what it was doing from roughly 15. So nice bug fix right there. The armor damage scaling has been reduced to 20% of your armor from 30%. The shred base values have been lowered to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 armor shred from 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 armor shred. And shred armor scaling lowered to 5% from 10%. So again, they just nerfed his W because he had a little too much, he was just too fabulous, and it was just too good. So it's a nice nerf to Taric. Not a huge one, but still nice and needed nonetheless. Bug fixes and changes, or minor changes. Brand, they fixed the cast range. It was longer than intended. It's now 625 from 650. They've improved Caitlyn's running animation as well as somebody else's running animation. Riven's running animation they actually improved as well. Cho'Gath, they fixed a bug in the tooltip for Rupture. It now actually shows you or tells you it slows people for 1.5 seconds from 3. Previously it did stay at 3 seconds. Now it was actually always 1.5. Fiora, if an enemy is revealed, if a stealth enemy is revealed, such as Shaco, he goes and deceives. Evelyn's nearby, she gets revealed. Or Twitch, he's, trying to ambush and he gets revealed by Ward or whatever. You actually still do damage to him, or them rather. But if you ult, if your ult hits them but they're not revealed, they still don't take damage. That's what happened. As it says, fix the bug where Blade Waltz was not dealing damage to revealed stealth targets. getting revealed by ward, pot, whatever. If they were being revealed and you could actually see them and hit them with other things, your ult still does damage to them as well. Garen can no longer, or his judgment no longer deals reduced damage versus monsters, still does versus minions, however, and fixed a bug where it was dealing less damage than intended. So watch out for that. Lissandra, her ult, fixed a bug where the slow would sometimes not reapply properly. Had that happen to me, so glad they fixed that. Maokai, his ultimate, added a counter showing how much bonus damage Vengeful Maelstrom is storing. That's good. Shows you exactly how much you can, how much that, the pop will do when you do pop the Vengeful Maelstrom. Pantheon can actually now go ahead and Aegis of Zonia onto enemy minions and jungle monsters. So that's good. Better for chasing, better for getting away, and better for jungling as well. Riven, again, all they did was improve her running animation. Shyvana fixed a bug where her flame breath was shredding armor in dragon form. And Vayne fixed a bug where if the target was being moved by a spell when Condemned's projectile hit, such as they got they dashed, they got knocked up, knocked back, pulled, etc. Condemned would sometimes not stun them when they hit with terrain. Meaning now, even if they get knocked up or they dash and your Condemn actually hits them to the wall, they will still get stunned before it actually wasn't doing that. Items. Vision items no longer display their current ward count to your enemies on their tooltip display. That's good. So now you can't tell if they've got their maximum of 3 or 1 depending on which ward it is. You have to just kind of guess and look for yourself. Jungle items. Bounty Hunter as a passive was too risky of a purchase for some junglers, as it either amped up the gold gain from successful team fights or punished junglers who couldn't get the assists or kills. Rather than being seen as a niche purchase, we want the spirit line of jungle items to be a core build of most junglers, so conservation as a passive is a stronger fit. So Spirit of the Spectral Wraith and Elder Lizard now have conservation passive instead of the Bounty Hunter passive. And Trinkets, we're looking to enrich the interactions between the 3 trinkets by highlighting the core strengths of each. The yellow's in a good place at the moment. The changes to the blue trinket solidify its role as a scouting tool and an in-combat vision trinket. Even if you reveal a champion before they go into stealth, they won't be revealed once stealth takes effect. So Sweeping Lens has its cooldown reduced to 120 seconds from 180. Greater Lens has its cooldown reduced to 60 seconds from 90. Oracle's Lens cooldown reduced to 60 seconds from 90. True Sight duration reduced to 8 seconds from 10, however. The Scrying Orb, enemy champions' hit will be revealed for 5 seconds, does not affect stealth champions, has an improved cast range of 1500 from 1100. Greater Orb, enemies' hit will be revealed for 5 seconds, it still doesn't affect stealth champions, cast range has been increased to 2500 from 1500. Farsight Orb, same thing as the previous 2 orbs, enemy champions' hit will be revealed for 5 seconds, doesn't affect stealth champions, cast range increased to 3000 from 2500. Summoner's Rift. The following changes are for Summoner's Rift only. So they've been watching the jungle closely and happy on how it's going. They just want to make it a little less taxing on the first clear or 2. So Ancient Golem and Elder Lizard now do 60 damage each from 65. So 5 damage nerf on both of them at level 1. And the Wit, White, whatever you want to call it, gold increased to 65 from 60. So again, just a little less taxing, a little more rewarding. So that's good. Game flow. Assist gold no longer scales up with game time. Now half the gold of kill reward scale instead of 50 through 80% reward depending on game time. Clarification on that one. So a kill at 1 minute in or an assist at 1 minute in will give you the same percentage of gold as a kill 34 minutes in. It's no higher, no less. And super minions, the damage boost to nearby minions has been increased to 70%, up from 40, and armor and magic resist boost to nearby minions increased to 70 from 40. They want you to be more vigilant about watching lanes with a downed inhibitor, and making it so that way the super minions actually sound and feel more super versus the normal counterparts. Howling Abyss. Who needs a trinket when he can feed a Poro? Everyone will spawn with a Poro Snacks item in their trinket slot for Howling Abyss because, hey, wards shouldn't be available on Howling Abyss. It's a one-lane map. Not much places to hide. Masteries. Marshal Mastery. Attack damage reduced to +4 from +5. And Arcane Mastery AP reduced to +6 from +8. So 1 AD nerf and 2 AD nerf, not a huge difference, still rather good. Defense. Perseverance reduced to restoring 0.7, 1.35 and 2% missing health every 5 seconds from a flat 1, 2, or 3% every 5 seconds. So not that. It's still a little nerf, just not as huge. Excuse me. Legendary Guardian, formerly the Tenacious Mastery, fixed a bug where the name had gotten swapped with the Tenacious Mastery, and the range required to gain bonus armor and magic resist from enemy champions reduced to 700 from 900, meaning they actually have to kind of be in your sight range now. Your sight range without wards and stuff like that for you to actually get that boost. Summoner spells. As a side note, we do plan to update summoner spells to better reflect the state of the preseason, but they will not be coming with patch 3.15. In the meantime, enjoy the new summoner spell art. So Clarity, Clairvoyance, Revive, Barrier, Flash, Teleport, and Ignite have all had their icons updated. That's it. So, yeah guys, that's it. Again, going back to the Fiddlesticks and the changes to Rammus on their Taunt and Fear respectively, I think that is too big of a nerf in the duration. I think, changing it from 3 seconds to 2.5 would make more sense instead of 3 seconds to 2.25 seconds. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And yeah, if I missed anything, I'm sorry. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like the channel on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe, most importantly, if you like what you see here and want to see more content from me. My name has been Shadowswalm, and I will talk to you all next time.